And good morning. Welcome to today's meditation. Today's meditation is going to be based on a teaching that I had from my history in recovery that was augmented by a little bit of insightful learning over this past weekend. So the recovery principle is that when one door closes, another door opens, or when one door closes, a window opens. When one thing is shut off, another thing becomes available. Or from an Einsteinian perspective, when we create a problem from a certain level of thinking, then we move to a new level of thinking in order to find a solution for that problem. And it's the integration and refinement of our recovery that in our life that makes it interesting. And so the teaching, when one door closes, another door opens, is powerful and insightful. And then the gem that was added to that this weekend was, and the hallway is a challenge. So when I picture myself in a motel or hotel, and one hotel door closes, and then you're in a hallway full of other doors, and which one's going to open, and where do I go? Which way do I go? And how do I best that? And what's going to be behind that door? And all of those things come to mind and distract. And so we're going to work on the premise of the hallway is the challenge. And how can we be in equanimity? How can we be calm and focused? How can we be steady and sure? How can we maintain ourselves gently and compassionately and patiently as we're in that hallway? How can we not fall into aversion from the fact that a door has closed on us? How can we not fall into attachment for the next door opening into something that we fantasize to be, what we want? And so how can we just be in the hallway in the challenge is our thought process. So invite you, as always, to find your posture. Settle into your posture. Let your body land. And then lengthen. And notice the effect of lengthening on the body. Allow that occurrence to happen. Release your energies, re-land in a lengthened posture. And then let go. So let go of everything that's happened up until this point, in this day, in this week, in this month, in this year, in this lifetime. Let go of everything you're planning to do later in this moment, this day, this week, this month. Allow this moment to be your moment. Give yourself the freedom of this moment. Feel yourself here, present, steady, sure. Feel the connection of your body to whatever's touching. Feel that connection as support and recognize the awareness of you are supported always. You're always connected to the earth. You're always connected to support. Gravity is working for you just like for everyone else. Support is available in any moment if we stop and feel into it. The body is always in the present moment if we stop and become aware of that. The tools of access to the body, awareness, and the breath are always available to us if we stop and utilize them. So utilize your tools, bring yourself into this place, into the space. Allow your connection. Feel your support. Find the stillness that's available to you in the lengthening and letting go. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so, or hood your gaze. Narrow your focus to something not moving just beyond the tip of your nose. And then turn your attention inward into your place in your body where the inhale begins. And just be in that space. Be right there as the inhale begins. Be right there as the exhale. And then if you're like me, you may notice that your attention has a tendency to wander. And so notice that with gratitude and gently and compassionately turn your attention to your breath. Bring your awareness to that breath and that possibility of stillness. Perhaps it's just the possibility of stillness you can become aware of. Maybe you feel the stillness within. Maybe you feel the stillness without. Maybe you notice that there's no difference between the stillness within and without. Maybe you have the capability to merge with that stillness, to move into that stillness, to be still. Maybe you're just aware of the possibility that stillness exists. And so consider that stillness, the door to stillness can be opened through these tools, these connections. And then notice perhaps that it doesn't take long for that door to close. The mind wanders away from the attention to the breath, the possibility of stillness, maybe to an external sound or an internal sound, maybe to an emotion that arises, the awkwardness of what's being presented. Maybe it's a feeling, a twitch in the ankle or a crimp in the hip. Or maybe it's a thought. Maybe your mind has a tendency to fall into well-worn grooves of repetitiveness, stories that you've told yourself over and over again. And it's just tendency to go there. And you start to wander off into fantasy. Those stories we tell ourselves about how things could be or would be. All of these are doors. Notice that one door closes. The doorway of thought closes. You come back to the breath. The doorway of feeling arises. You feel angst as a memory arises. That door closes as you come back to the breath. And the doorway to feeling arises as you get a twitch in your shoulder or a crick in your neck. And you notice that and gently bring the notice back to the breath. And that door closes and a new door arises. The possibility of stillness becomes clear for a moment. And you move into that. And then you notice that the doorway of thought has opened again because an external sound occurred and your attention went with the sound. And so you notice that gratefully. And you bring your attention back to the breath and the place where the inhale begins. And you feel again into the possibility of stillness. And so as this all unfolds as we sit, our awareness becomes capable of understanding and encompassing all of these different occurrences. We're aware of ourselves as a body, sitting and breathing. And we know that that body is sitting. Even as all of these phenomena are occurring, these doors are opening and closing. We know we're a body sitting. And as we return our focus to our breath, we can be right there at the beginning of the inhale and know that we're breathing in. As we're breathing in. And still the doors keep opening and closing. And so we hold all these phenomena. And we recognize perhaps that we're bringing extra effort, that we're actually constricting with the effort to remain focused at one particular door or one particular place. And then that too becomes a distraction because that constriction, that extra effort acts as a barrier. And so we have to consciously become aware of that constriction and release that extra effort and allow ourselves to come back to just being a body sitting, a body breathing. And so this is the hallway. This hallway of trying to be present, this hallway of presence, this hallway of being aware and maintaining awareness of multiple phenomena or doors opening and closing, and our tendency to want to go to that door. It sounds like a party in there. I want to go there. But that door closes, and then we've got the door of dark and silence. I don't want to go there. So we've got aversion arising, and now we have a feeling to run with. So we recognize that and release that and come back to the doorway of confusion. What do I do? All these different doors. Which one is right for me? How will I know? And then we recognize that as a distraction also. And so we gently and compassionately return our attention to just the body breathing. And just allow what arises to arise. And we recognize the challenge of not being distracted. We recognize the challenge of connecting with our distractions. We recognize the challenge of recognizing that we've connected with our distractions. We recognize the challenge of then having to release the connection to the distraction. We recognize the challenge of the judgment of having allowed ourselves to get connected to our distractions when we had committed not to get connected to our distractions. And now we have to let go of the judgment. And so we recognize the challenge of being all of these doors opening and closing randomly, it seems. We're in the hallway. And we want to be in the room. And then we want to be in that room. And then we want to be in that room.